हेलो फ्रेंड्स, गुड मॉर्निंग। कैसे हैं आप सब? दोस्तों, आज का हमारा टॉपिक है इलेक्ट्रिक ट्रैक्शन एंड ड्राइव। चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं आज का सेशन। एन एलिवेटर ड्राइव इज रिक्वायर्ड टू ऑपरेट 3 quadrant, 2 quadrant, 1 quadrant, all 4 quadrant. An elevator drive is required to operate all 4 quadrant. Motor used for elevator is generally induction motor. Next है Khalistan braking is generally used in braking of battery operated a scooter, mechanical braking. The characteristic of drive for a crane hoisting is all of the above: a smooth movement, precise control, fast speed control. Heavy duty cranes are used in heavy engineering workshop, steel plates or handling plants. All. The most preferred motor used in traction is DC series motor. The most preferred motor used in traction, DC series motor. Long distance railways operate on 25 kilovolt single phase AC. A low frequency supply is given to the single phase AC system for traction electrification because it improves commutation, increase efficiency, improve power factor. All. A rotatory converter generally is a synchronous motor and a DC generator combined. An electric traction employing a DC series motor is running at a fixed speed. When a sudden drop in voltage of supply takes place, then this results in rise in speed and drop in current. What is the advantage of electric braking? It avoids wear and tear of track. Which of the following is preferred for automatic drive? Wall Leonard control DC motor. Next, which of the following three-phase AC system is used in electric traction? 3 to 3.5 kilovolt at 16.2 by 3 Hz. An electric motor may give noise due to magnetic effect, defective bearing, cooling air. All. The least expensive drive is belt drive. What kind of operation is performed in winch and crane application? What kind of operation is performed in winch and crane applications? Starting, stopping, speed controller and reversing. The speed time curve for urban services has no free running period. Urban services has no free running period. Which type of frame is preferred for motor in moist surrounding, totally enclosed, fan cooled? Next question है the basic element of electric drive are electric motor, transmission and control system. Next, the main drawback of electric drive is that electric power supply failure makes the drive stand still. Light duty cranes are used in which of the following? Light duty cranes are used in all: powerhouse, pumping station and automobile workshop. Which of the following is cause of passive load? Passive load, friction. The most economical method of electric braking is regenerative braking. The most economical method of electric braking is regenerative braking. The most economical method of electric braking is regenerative braking. The most economical method of electric braking is regenerative braking. The most economical method of electric braking is regenerative braking. The most economical method of electric braking is regenerative braking. The most economical method of electric braking is regenerative braking. The most economical method of electric braking is regenerative braking. The most economical method of electric braking is regenerative braking. The most economical method of electric braking is regenerative braking. The most economical method of electric braking is regenerative braking. The most economical method of electric braking is regenerative braking. The most economical method of electric braking is regenerative braking. The most economical method of electric braking is regenerative braking. The most economical method of electric braking is regenerative braking. The most economical method of electric braking is regenerative braking. The most economical method of electric regenerative braking. The motor enclosure used in woodworking industry, वुडवर्किंग इंडस्ट्री में यूज होता है आपका totally enclosed fan cooled type. Totally enclosed fan cooled type. Next है, in AC locomotive, a squirrel cage induction motor are used. The method of a speed control is frequency control method of a speed control. The most preferred motor used in water pumping is a squirrel cage induction motor. Operating voltage for DC traction is DC traction के लिए 1500 वोल्ट होता है. DC supply at 600 to 750 is universally employed for tram based and light motor in urban areas. ठीक है. And DC supply at 1500 से 3000 used for main line service and heavy motor. ये याद रखिएगा. In India, diesel locomotives are manufactured at Varanasi. A specific energy consumption is maximum in urban services. Which of the following motor one will choose to drive the rotatory compressor synchronous motor? Which among the following is mechanical braking, pneumatic braking? The load characteristics of a rolling mill fluctuate wildly within short interval of time. The load characteristic of rolling mill fluctuate wildly within short intervals of time. What is the frequency of single phase traction system? Single phase traction system 16.67 Hz to 25 Hz. ठीक है. यहाँ देखिए, a single phase traction system use 11 to 15 kilovolt at a frequency of 16.7 to 25 Hz. Next, which of the below is an example for short time intermittent load crane? Which traction system employ the metadine control method underground system? The approximate continuous rating of a motor for a load of 100 horsepower for 20 minutes at 3/4 load for next 10 minutes and no load for next 20 minutes is continuous rating of motor. 100 हॉर्स पावर है ना, तो हॉर्स पावर को वाट में 746 से मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे. ठीक है. ये पावर आ जाएगा उसका इंटू 20, ये 746 इंटू 100 का स्क्वायर वाट स्क्वायर हो जाएगा. ये इंटू 20 मिनट प्लस 3/4 लोड का स्क्वायर इंटू 10 मिनट प्लस नो लोड यानी 0 इंटू 20 मिनट के लिए है. बाई तीनों का एवरेज टाइम ले लेंगे तो इसका अंडर रूट करेंगे क्योंकि ये वाट स्क्वायर में आ रहा है ना, तो फिर 1 किलोवाट निकल जाएगा. किलोवाट को हॉर्स पावर में कन्वर्ट कर देंगे तो 22 आएगा. The motor used in electric traction 3-phase induction motor. Which of the following method is not used in for DC drive? Thermal control. Not used for DC drive, thermal control. Which of the following is not an AC drive? Compound motor drive. For the transmission of power, a direct drive is only preferred when a speed of the driven machine equal to motor speed. In electric traction, the coefficient of adhesion is represented by mu. In the speed time curve of a train, a speed is kilometer per hour and time is in second are plotted. In suburban services as compared with urban services, costing period is longer. Which motor has widest variety of method for speed control? DC shunt motor. Pole changing a squirrel cage induction motor employed in derricks has 4, 8 and 24 pole. The lowest speed is used in landing the load. ये देखिए नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, मैच करना है, ठीक है. कंटिन्यूअस ड्यूटी, शॉर्ट टाइम ड्यूटी, कंटिन्यूअस ड्यूटी विथ इंटरमीडिएट पीरियड लोडिंग, कंटिन्यूअस ड्यूटी विथ स्टार्टिंग एंड ब्रेकिंग, कंटिन्यूअस ड्यूटी मशीन टूल्स, शॉर्ट टाइम ड्यूटी कन्वेयर, कंटिन्यूअस ड्यूटी विथ इंटरमीडिएट पीरियडिक लोडिंग ब्लोअर्स हो जाएगा, और कंटिन्यूअस ड्यूटी विथ स्टार्टिंग एंड ब्रेकिंग सायरन्स. सायरन्स डी का दूसरा हो जाएगा, डी का दूसरा, ए ऑप्शन हो जाएगा. An electric drive possesses the following drawback. An electric drive possesses require a continuous power supply. Which type of load is offered by crane and hoist reversing heavy start? Low frequency supply is obtained by either motor generator set or frequency changer. In an electric traction, the specific energy consumption is measured in specific energy consumption. वाट आवर पर टन किलोमीटर होना चाहिए. यस, वाट आवर पर टन किलोमीटर. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, द शेड्यूल्ड स्पीड ऑफ ट्रेन इज, शेड्यूल्ड स्पीड ऑफ ट्रेन ऑलवेज लेस देन एवरेज स्पीड. ड्यूरिंग द कॉस्टिंग पीरियड, power supply to the motor is cut off and the train is allowed to run due to its movement, due to its own momentum. During the costing period, the power supply to the motor is cut off and the train is allowed to run due to its own momentum. In which of the following industries are all the motor totally enclosed and moisture proof? Paper industry. Which of the following characteristics is not an electrical characteristics considered during the selection of motor, transmission of drive? Which of the following characteristics is not an electrical characteristics considered during the selection of motor, transmission of drive? Which of the following transmission system has maximum efficiency? Direct drive. Maximum efficiency direct drive. If a single phase motor drives a number of machine through from a common shaft, such a type of drive system is known as a group drive. Which of the following control method is not preferred for AC drive? Field control method. Not preferred for AC drive, field control method. If the effective mass of train is m, ton, acceleration alpha kilometer per second square, then the tractive force is equal to, tractive force हो जाएगा m alpha into 10 to the power 6 न्यूटन. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट है, डिटरमाइन द सुटेबल साइज ऑफ अ कंटिन्यूअस रेटेड मोटर फॉर द फॉलोइंग लोड कर्व. द लोड हैज अ रिपीटेड पैटर्न एवरी 30 मिनट. साइज ऑफ अ कंटिन्यूअस रेटेड मोटर किलोवाट स्क्वायर इंटू T1. ये वही है, सेम क्वेश्चन जो लास्ट मैंने करवाया था. किलोवाट स्क्वायर इंटू T1 प्लस किलोवाट स्क्वायर इंटू T2 निकाल लेंगे. तो देखिए पहला किलोवाट है 100 का स्क्वायर इंटू T1 10, फिर दूसरा है 25 और दूसरा 50 लिया है, 50 का स्क्वायर इंटू ये भी 10 ही हो जाएगा टाइम. ठीक है. बाई 30 ऑन एन एवरेज टाइम 30. यहाँ से निकल जाएगा तो 67. ठीक है. और ये रिपीटेड है ना तो इसलिए डॉट डॉट किया है. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, द लोड इन मेटल कटिंग एंड ड्रिलिंग टूल्स ड्राइव फॉर fork lift trucks, mine hoist, etc. are considered to be intermittent periodic duty in the starting. Consider the below point: distance between stops, acceleration and retardation, gradient, train resistance. Which of the above factor affect the specific energy consumption in train? All of the above. Specific energy consumption, distance between stops, acceleration, retardation, gradient, train resistance, all हो जाएगा. The required properties of traction batteries are constant output voltage, high resistance to vibration, and high volumetric and long service life. ठीक है, ये क्या है? Find the tractive effort required to balance the gravitational pull for the train on an up gradient as given in the below figure. Tractive effort F बराबर mg sin थीटा, mg इधर है, इधर हो जाएगा कॉस थीटा होना चाहिए, नहीं साइन थीटा ही होना चाहिए, कॉस थीटा. अच्छा, सीधा कॉस थीटा हो जाएगा. अच्छा, ये एम जी दिया है ना, तो एम जी का इधर थीटा है तो कॉस थीटा और उधर साइन थीटा, तो एम जी कॉस थीटा इंटू एन हो जाएगा. ठीक है जी, सॉरी एम जी साइन थीटा न्यूटन. एक मिनट, क्वेश्चन क्या है? फाइंड द ट्रैक्टिव एफर्ट रिक्वायर्ड टू बैलेंस द ग्रेविटी. बैलेंस करने के लिए है ना, तो एफ जी का अपोजिट में चाहिए, तो एम जी साइन थीटा हो जाएगा. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट. फॉर ए डीसी मशीन लैबोरेटरी, फॉलोइंग टाइप ऑफ डीसी सप्लाई विल बी सूटेबल. इंडक्शन मोटर, डीसी जनरेटर सेट. correction method can bring the locomotive to dead stop plugging braking. Correction is supported from the shelling. Trolley conveyors is supported from the shelling trolley conveyors. Forklift truck is used for lifting and lowering. Forklift truck is used for lifting and lowering. Next है, what does S in IP11S represent? S represent machine was tested when not running condition. Machine was tested when not running condition. Belt conveyor offer high starting torque. An electric motor operates at full load of 100 kilowatt for 10 minutes. हाफ लोड फॉर नेक्स्ट 20 मिनट, नो लोड फॉर 20 मिनट. ये तो सेम लास्ट टाइम रहता था, किलोवाट स्क्वायर इंटू T1 प्लस किलोवाट स्क्वायर इंटू T2 डॉट डॉट अंडर रूट बाई टाइम का एवरेज ले लेंगे सब सम करके. ठीक है, तो ये निकल जाएगा आपका आंसर से अंडर रूट 3000. द क्रिस्ट स्पीड इन इलेक्ट्रिक ट्रेन इज, क्रिस्ट स्पीड इन इलेक्ट्रिक ट्रेन इज मैक्सिमम स्पीड अटेन्ड बाई ट्रेन ड्यूरिंग रन. इन इलेक्ट्रिक मोटर कूलिंग TEFC means totally enclosed fan cooled होगा, यही होगा और क्या. yes. A single phase half wave DC drive gives a one quadrant operation. Single phase half wave converter DC drive gives one quadrant operation. Which circuit breaker is generally used for railway traction? Railway traction air brake circuit breaker. Which of the following application need frequent starting and stopping of electric motor? Lift and hoist. What will be the quadrant of operation of DC drive if polarity of voltage is positive and polarity of current is negative? Second quadrant. Voltage positive, current negative. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, मैच द क्वाड्रांट इन लिस्ट 1 विथ कॉरस्पॉन्डिंग ऑपरेशन ऑफ ड्राइव इन लिस्ट 2. फर्स्ट क्वाड्रांट हो जाएगा आपका फर्स्ट क्वाड्रांट फॉरवर्ड मोटरिंग, सेकेंड क्वाड्रांट फॉरवर्ड ब्रेकिंग, थर्ड क्वाड्रांट रिवर्स मोटरिंग, फोर्थ क्वाड्रांट रिवर्स ब्रेकिंग. ठीक है, ब्रेकिंग मोटरिंग याद रखिएगा, FFRR. ठीक है, सॉरी मोटरिंग ब्रेकिंग MB और FR, ठीक है। The weight of locomotive is 120 ton. If the axle load is not to exceed 20 ton, the number of axle required is weight by load. वेट है 120 और लोड है 20, तो 6 हो जाएगा, ठीक है 6। Which of the following is true about coefficient of adhesion? It is low in case of DC traction and high in AC traction. Which of the following indicates the usual specific energy consumption for suburban train services? 50 to 75 watt-hour per ton kilometer. Usual specific energy consumption for suburban services 50 to 75 watt-hour per ton kilometer. For low and medium power drive, where speed control is not required, the motor that is recommended is squirrel cage induction motor. Why is the energy consumption in propelling the train required for acceleration, work against gravity while moving up the gradient, and work against the resistance to motion? Two locomotives having identical tractive effort slip characteristics haul a habit train. The locomotive with larger diameter shares smaller tractive effort. In addition to actual running time between stops, the speed of train that is estimated taking into account the time of a stop at a station is known as scheduled speed. Which of the following statements is true? In a composite system, phase power received is converted into DC or three-phase power AC system. If the designation of Indian Railway locomotive is known as WAM1, then in this way the letter W indicates which of the following? Locomotive is to run on broad gauge track. देखिए W broad gauge, A AC electric traction, M mixed both goods and passenger. 1 denotes this locomotive is chronologically first electric locomotive model used, ठीक है। And ideal traction system should have high starting tractive effort, equipment capable of withstanding large temporary overload, easy speed control, all. Usually, wide and very sensitive speed control is required in case of colliery winders. In case of travelling crane, the motor preferred for boom hoist is a slip-ring induction motor. Light-duty cranes are generally used in all. 15-minute rated motor are suitable for light duty cranes. 15-minute light duty cranes, और ये क्या था? Light duty cranes are used in automobile workshop, pumping station, powerhouse, all. Okay. Diesel electric traction has comparatively limited overload capacity because diesel engine is costed output prime mover. Next है free running and costing period are generally long in case of main service line. Free running and costing period is generally long in case of main service line. यहाँ देखिए कुछ चार्ट दिया हुआ है, मेन लाइन, suburban सर्विसेज और अर्बन सर्विसेज. डिस्टेंस बिटवीन स्टॉप्स इन किलोमीटर, मोर देन 10, 1 to 8 और 1, ठीक है. मैक्सिमम स्पीड इन किलोमीटर पर फेज 160 इन मेन लाइन, 120 suburban और अर्बन 100 होता है। एक्सलेरेशन 0.5 to 9, 1.54 to 4, 1.5 to 4। रिटार्डेशन इन किलोमीटर पर आवर पर सेकेंड 1.5, 3 to 4, 3 to 4। ये आपका इंपॉर्टेंट है, इसमें से ऑब्जेक्टिव पूछ सकते हैं। बैटरी ऑपरेटेड ट्रक आर यूज्ड फॉर लोकल डिलीवरी ऑफ गुड्स इन लार्ज टाउन with maximum daily run up to 50 to 60 kilometer. Electric railway in comparison to other traction has drawback of interference with communication lines running along the track, heavy initial expenditure in laying out overhead electric supply system, interruption of traffic for hours owing to short time power failure, all of the above. The range of horsepower of diesel locomotive is 1500 से 2500. Electric traction in comparison to other traction system has advantage of all हो जाएगा। क्या है? Electric traction in comparison to other traction system has advantage of higher acceleration and braking retardation, cleanest system and so ideally suitable for underground and tube railway, better speed control. Which motor has to start with high acceleration, lift and city electrical train? Traction system find its application in railway. DC motor recommended for locomotive drive is DC series motor. Filament is used as a coolant in electrical machine to increase their efficiency. H2. Is it coolant in electrical machine to increase their efficiency? H2. A regenerative DC drive control speed of motor, rotating speed of motor, direction of rotation of motor. Which of the following is incorrect? रिजनरेटिव ड्राइव क्या कंट्रोल करता है? स्पीड, रोटेटिंग स्पीड, डायरेक्शन ऑफ रोटेशन कंट्रोल तो नहीं करता, तीसरा नहीं होना चाहिए। 5 का डी, नन ऑफ दी अबव। इन कौन सा गलत है? कोई गलत नहीं है, सारा सही है। डायरेक्शन ऑफ रोटेशन भी कंट्रोल करता है। For effective regenerative braking, the terminal voltage of the motor should be greater than supply voltage and should not depend on terminal voltage. Voltage change of speed and braking torque. The armature current flow in opposite direction at the time of braking, due to which field current will also flow in opposite direction. Next आपका crane generally offer reversing load and heavy start. Crane generally offers reversing load and heavy start. AC drive can be used to control induction motor and synchronous motor. Filament are employed for the operation of jaw crushers, welted slip ring induction motor. Harmonics in DC drive as compared to AC drive is 0. Harmonics in DC drive as compared to AC drive is 0. Types of DC drive is regenerative, non-regenerative, single phase. All regenerative, non-regenerative, single phase. The graph shown below represents the speed time curve of an electric train. What does region AB on the curve represent? Acceleration on speed curve. The normal value of coefficient of adhesion with clean dry rail is 0.25. What is the equivalent inertia constant if two machines having inertia constant H1 and H2 are swinging coherently? H equivalent H1 plus H2. For blower, which of the following motor is preferred? Blower, a squirrel cage induction motor. Blower, a squirrel cage induction motor. Lift, DC series motor. Lathe, milling and grinding machine, DC shunt or a squirrel cage induction motor. Punches, press and shears, slip ring induction motor or DC cumulative compound motor. Machine tools, DC shunt motor. Textile industry, 3-phase squirrel cage induction motor. Washing machine, universal motor. While selecting motor for AC, which of the following characteristics is of great importance? Noise. The starting torque in case of centrifugal pump is generally less than running torque. In aluminium industry, Breyer process is used to obtain aluminium from bauxite. Breyer process. Air gap in sleeve wearing machine is checked by feeler gauge. Ballast are frequently employed for exhausting dusty full air. Exhaust fan. Which of the following alternatives will be cheaper? 100 horsepower AC 3-phase motor. Which test is used to determine the efficiency of traction motor? Field test. If the coefficient of adhesion on dry rail is 0.26, which of the following could be the value for weight rail? 0.16. Coefficient of adhesion of dry rail 0.26, तो वैल्यू ऑफ वेट रेल क्या हो जाएगा? म्यू बराबर होता है F/W ट्रैक्टिव इफोर्ट, W एडहेसिव वेट. Net energy saved during regenerative braking of electric train is high with high down gradient. The traveling speed of crane varies from 1 to 2.5. Yes, 1 to 2.5 meter per second. Free running speed of train does not depends on duration of stops. Wall Leonard control DC drive are generally used for heavy duty excavators. In which of the following cities do tram services exist? Kolkata. The suburban train operating voltage in case of direct current system is 600 से 750. In a steam locomotive, electric power is provided through small turbo generator. Long distance railway use for their electric traction 25 kV single phase AC. In automatic lift, once a relay has operated to cause the car to travel, then all buttons are dead. Choose the incorrect statements with respect to DC system for railway. DC train equipment is heavier and less efficient than similar AC equipment. So ये हो जाएगा incorrect choose करना. DC train equipment is heavier and less efficient than similar AC equipment. सही क्या है? When operating under similar service condition, DC train consumes less energy than one phase in single phase AC train. ठीक है. A DC system causes low electrical interference with overhead communication lines. DC motor are better suited for frequent and rapid acceleration of heavy train than AC motor. State whether the following statements regarding electric traction are true or false. Provision of negative booster is essential in case of electric traction. Communication line that run parallel to the power supply line of electric traction suffer from electrical interference. Both are true. The load cycle for a motor driving a power press will be continuous but periodical. D नहीं ये होगा. Intermittent and variable load. The load cycle for a motor driving power press will be intermittent and variable load. For energy efficient motor, which of the following is correct? Energy efficient motor use low quality material. In Kondo system of electrical traction, a Khalistan supply from the substation is picked up by the locomotive through a single overhead contact wire, 16 kV 50 Hz. In a single phase traction system, which three-phase supply is fed into the induction motor to drive a train? Kondo system. In single phase traction system, which three-phase supply is fed into the induction motor to drive a train? Kondo system. In fourth quadrant of operation of electrical drive, what is the nature of operation of DC motor? Nature of operation of DC motor, reverse regenerating. Drive waste suitable for textile industry is a squirrel cage induction motor. Flame proof motor are used in explosive atmospheres. The thermal loading on the motor can be determined by duty/load cycle. Thermal loading on the motor can be determined by duty/load cycle. मोटर नॉर्मली यूज्ड फॉर क्रेन ट्रैवल. क्रेन ट्रैवल के लिए हो जाएगा आपका एसी स्लिप रिंग मोटर. क्रेन ट्रैवल एसी स्लिप रिंग मोटर. इलेक्ट्रिक केटल वाटेज रेटिंग रेंज इज 1200 से 1600. इलेक्ट्रिक केटल वाटेज रेटिंग 1200 से 1600 वाट. फॉर ऑटो ऑफ एन इलेक्ट्रिक आयरन, the switch is used thermostat. Low power factor cause increased losses. How much of energy is required for refining gold? 300 to 350 kilowatt hour per ton. What is the pressure of a steam in a locomotive? 10 से 15 kg per centimeter square. Which of the following pair is used for frequency converter? Frequency converter, squirrel cage induction and synchronous motor. Yes, squirrel cage induction and synchronous motor. A three-phase rotatory converter, when power factor is unity, the AC to DC current ratio is 1.5. Percentage of overload on a continuous rating machine is 10%. Color TV has approximate power of 130. Why is electric braking preferred? It is smooth, its maintenance cost is less, energy is saved in regenerative braking. All. Which part of a motor needs maximum attention for maintenance? Maximum attention for maintenance, bearing. The DC series motor are preferred for traction application because torque is proportional to a square of armature current and speed is inversely proportional to torque. Next. Load frequency control is achieved by properly matched the individual machines turbine input. In mainline service as compared to urban and suburban railway services, all distance between stops is more, maximum speed attained is high, acceleration and braking retardation rate are low. Which one is not current collector for overhead system? Cable collector. Which one is not current collector? For overhead system, cable collector. In second quadrant converter, the load current flows out of the load. Load voltage is positive and load current is negative. The tractive effort required without slipping the motion of a train of adhesive weight 100 ton with coefficient of adhesion 0.25 is tractive effort coefficient of adhesion into loco weight 0.25 into 100 25 ton. A train has scheduled a speed of 60 km/h over a level of track. Distance between stops being 2 km. Station stopping time is 20 seconds. एवरेज स्पीड ऑफ ट्रेन क्या हो जाएगा? एवरेज स्पीड शेड्यूल टाइम डी बाई वी एस. डी डिस्टेंस बिटवीन टू स्टॉप्स 2 किलोमीटर है ना, बाई 60 हो जाएगा. किलोमीटर बाई किलोमीटर पर फेज पर आवर. आवर को सेकंड में कन्वर्ट किया तो 60 इंटू 60 ठीक है 120 सेकेंड आ गया. एक्चुअल रन टाइम 120 माइनस 20 100 सेकेंड. एवरेज स्पीड होगा डी बाई टी. डी है 2 किलोमीटर बाई टी 100 तो किलोमीटर पर सेकंड में निकल जाएगा. ये इसको आवर में करने के लिए 36 से मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे तो 72 kmph ठीक है. फॉर एन एप्लीकेशन विच रिक्वायर्स अ स्मूथ एंड प्रिसाइज कंट्रोल ओवर द वाइड रेंज एट लो कॉस्ट द मोटर प्रेफर्ड इज DC मोटर. कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट रिलेटेड टू DC ड्राइव. Wide speed control range, high starting torque, high power to weight ratio, fast transient response, no limit on highest operating voltage. Out of these 1, 2 and 4 are current. Wide speed control range, high starting torque, fast transient response. The consideration involved in the selection of the type of electric drive for a specific application depends upon a speed control range and its nature, starting nature, environmental condition. All. Why are the ternary lead cable used near the railway track have low specific gravity? Which material is used for overhead tram lines? Copper alloy. Punching machine is characterized as impact load. The direct current system employed for tram gauge operates on 750 volt. Which braking system on the locomotive is costliest among the following? Regenerative braking on electric locomotives. Which of the following is not a track electrification system? Two-phase AC system. Not a track electrification system, two-phase AC system. Linear induction motor is used in traction. While making the choice of drive, which of the following factor is not considered? Drive machine temperature. In a traveling crane, 3 motors are used, one for hoisting, another one for long travel motion and third for cross travel motion. What type of drive is applied here? Multi-motor drive. फ्रेंड्स ये टॉपिक आपका ख़त्म हो गया. ये था आपका इलेक्ट्रिक ट्रैक्शन एंड ड्राइव, टॉपिक ख़त्म हो गया आपका। तो चलिए मैं सेशन को ये पेंट करती हूँ। आई होप वीडियो अच्छा लगे। ये आपका मैं इस कंपटीशन के बुक से करवा रही हूँ। मैं आपको जेबी गुप्ता और आर के राजपूत से भी करवाऊँगी। मैं पहले इस कंपटीशन का बुक ख़त्म कर लूँ, उसके बाद उसको स्टार्ट करूँगी। चलिए मैं इसको यहीं पे ख़त्म करती हूँ। थैंक यू, बाय बाय।